Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Who's the power? Who's the power?
Yahweh's power.
By Hashem?
Yahweh Shai.
By Hashem?
Yahweh Shai.
We'll begin with the blowing of shofar. As we stay blowing the shofar, as we stand to face the east and begin the prayers. The blessing of Shaobah. The blowing of shofar. The blessing of Shabbat. Repeat the Hebrew only. Blessed be Yahweh, name anointed Yahweh Shai, that give us the Shabbat in peace. Barak Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh.
Ba'Hashem Asek Yahweh Shai,
Ba'Hashem Hamashak Yahweh Shai.
Ha'alafa Nawa,
Our Alata Nawa.
HaShabbat,
HaShabbat.
Ba'Shalawam.
Ba'Shalawam.
Blessed be Yahweh, name anointed Yahweh Shai, that give us the law. Barak Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh.
Ba'Hashem Asek Yahweh Shai,
Ba'Hashem Hamashak Yahweh Shai.
Ha'alafa Nawa,
Our Alata Nawa.
HaTorah.
HaTorah.
Blessed be Yahweh, name anointed Yahweh Shai, that give us the light to see. Barak Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh.
Ba'Hashem Asek Yahweh Shai,
Ba'Hashem Hamashak Yahweh Shai.
Ha'alafa Nawa,
Our Alata Nawa.
Ha'awar,
Ha'awar.
Lacha'ah.
Lakra'ah.
Blessed be Yahweh, name anointed Yahweh Shai, that gave us the ram's horn to call the people. Barak Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh.
Ba'Hashem Asek Yahweh Shai,
Ba'Hashem Hamashak Yahweh Shai.
Ha'alafa Nawa,
Our Alata Nawa.
Ha'awar,
Ha'awar.
Ha'ayah,
Pa'ayel.
Koran,
Koran.
Lacha'ah,
Raka'ah.
Ha'aim.
Ba'ayim.
Blessed be Yahweh, name anointed Yahweh Shai, that gave us the olive oil to anoint Israel. Barak Yahweh,
Barakatah Yahweh.
Ba'Hashem Asek Yahweh Shai,
Ba'Hashem Hamashak Yahweh Shai.
Ha'alafa Nawa,
Our Alata Nawa.
Hashaman,
Hashaman.
Zayath,
Zayath.
Lamashak,
Lamashak.
Yasha'Allah,
Yasha'Allah.
Ba'Hashem,
Ba'Hashem.
Amasiak,
Hamashak.
Yahweh Shai,
Yahweh Shai.
Thawara,
Tawara.
Thamyad,
Tamyad.
Aman.
Aman.
The book of Psalms, chapter 121, the blessing of Shabbat.
Come on. Psalms 121. I'll lift up mine eyes unto the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, even forevermore. Ba'Hashem, Hamashak Yahweh Shai, Toratam Yad, Aman.
Aman. Hallelujah.
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 Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's the power.
Hashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Hashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Psalms 92, the blessing of Shabbat in English.
Psalms 92. It is a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord, to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High, to shew forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. Upon an instrument of 10 strings, upon the psaltery, upon the harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Lord, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thine hands. O Lord, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Lord, art most high forevermore. For lo, thine enemies, O Lord, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see my desire on my enemies, and mine ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of the Lord shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing. to shew that the Lord is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Ba'ashem, Hamashak Yahushai, Tawaratham Yad, Aman.
Aman. Hallelujah.
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 Daron Palau and Lashon Korash. Repeat the Hebrew.
Arwan Palau. Abana.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shamayim.
Shua Shemayim.
Kodash.
Korash.
Haya.
Haya.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakwathka.
Malakothka.
Thaba'a.
Taba'a.
Ratazaika.
Ratasaika.
Haya.
Haya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Barataza.
Rataza.
Kawa.
Hawa.
Haya.
Haya.
Bashamayim.
Ashmai.
Athanana.
No.
Lachom. Kawom.
Very warm.
Wasalakna.
It's like now.
Kabawathna.
Kawafi now.
Kazalakna.
It's like now.
Kabawathnawa.
Kawafi now.
Wala'a. Thabaina.
No.
Barasai one. Abo.
Abo.
Hawashainawa.
Shai now.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Rai.
Right.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Lacha.
Hamalakwat.
Amalakwa.
Wala.
Wala.
Wathai Parath.
Wakai Korath.
Waibalamium.
Laguni.
Bashem.
Hashem.
Hamashak.
Asya.
Yahushai.
Osha.
Thawara.
The one.
Thamyad.
Thanyat.
Aman.
The book of Matthew, the book of St. Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For if we forgive men their trespasses, your Father will also forgive you. But if we forgive men not their trespasses, now will our Father forgive your trespasses. Abanai Yahba Shema Sek Yahushai, Thawara, Thamyad, Aman.
Aman.
I will say all praise and power go to Yahweh by Shema Sek Yahushai, for surely his mercy endure forever. All praise to the Most High for all the 12 tribes of Israel that are waking up every day to their true identity, O Yahweh. We thank you, O Yahweh, for reviving us in these last days, that we may be able to finally do the things that please you in thy sight, O Yahweh, that we may in return be delivered from this hell that we live every day here. I pray unto you, O Yahweh, that you may bring us back to the land of our forefathers, O Yahweh, that we may be delivered from this captivity, for all the 12 tribes of Israel scattered across the four corners of this earth. Abana Yahweh Bahashem Asak Yahushai, Tawara Thamyad Aman. You may be seated. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I want to say all praises and power go to Yahweh by Shema Sek Yahushai, for surely his mercy endure forever, always and forever. So I want to start off with Colossians chapter 3, verse 17.
God. God. Colossians chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Hamashak Yahushai, giving thanks to power and the Abba by him.
Read one more time, but read slowly.
And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of Hamashak Yahushai, giving thanks to the power and the Abba by him.
So whatever we do, we have to give all praise to the Most High by his name, Yahweh, through his son's name, Hamashak Yahushai. All right? And I want to say all praise to the Most High that, we made it through this week, for all the brothers and our wonderful sisters that was watching us over the live. Many brothers are tuning in right now to watch us over live, to be with us in the spirit as we crack open these books and go into these scriptures, the history of our people, right? So the first thing I'm going to talk about a little bit is, give me 1 Samuel 2 and 6.
1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raiseth the poor out of the dust, and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them.
Read one more time.
The Lord killeth, and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave.
So this is a very important lesson for us as the children of Israel, that we remember that the Most High, he's the one that kills, right? Keep going.
He bringeth down to the grave, and bringeth up.
What does he do?
He bringeth down to the grave, and bringeth up.
So, Salakia. Read it one more time, Salakia.
The Lord killeth, and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave, and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor, and maketh rich. He bringeth low, and lifteth up.
Right. So the Most High is the one that kills, and he brings alive. So we have to thank the Most High for every day that he's giving us mercy to continue living out this punishment. That he may give us mercy so that we may be able to make it through. That we may be able to endure it until the end. That we may be able to obtain our reward, right? Through showing our faith and through showing our works, right? And the Mashiach Yahushai and the Most High God, right? So a little bit I want to talk about is a brother of mine. I can't. Let's just go straight to the question. Let's go to Judges. Judges chapter 9.
Done. Chapter 9, verse 1. Judges chapter 9, verse 1. And Abimelech, the son of Zerubbabel, went to Shechem unto his mother's brethren, and communed with them, and with all the family of the house of his mother's father, saying, Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem, whether is better for you, either that all the sons of Zerubbabel, which are 70 persons, reign over you, or that one reign over you. Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh. And his mother's brethren spake of him in the ears of all the men of Shechem all these words. And their hearts inclined to follow Abimelech, for they said, He is our brother. And they gave him
all right, Salakia. Let's go back to 1 Samuel 2 and 6. Let me go through this right now.
Gone. 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 6.
Uh-huh.
The Lord killeth,
right?
And the Lord maketh alive.
Right, so the Most High kills and he makes alive. So, as I said before, we have to thank the Most High for every day that we're living, even in this captivity, even in this hell that we're living in. We have to thank the Most High God that he's still having mercy for us to be able to continue to endure until the end, to continue fighting our race, continue fighting our fight, right? So keep going.
He bringeth down to the grave.
Uh-huh.
And bringeth up.
And that's an important lesson to remember, that even when we go to the grave, the Most High is the one who brings us back up. Right? Keep going.
The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich.
Uh-huh.
He bringeth low and lifteth up.
Right. He bringeth low and lifteth up. So, beyond anything else, I want to talk about a brother of mine, a Hebrew Israelite of the powerful tribe of Loya. That recently passed away. A brother of mine of the tribe of Levi that was in this truth, named Abar of the tribe of Levi, just recently passed away this past week. Read the book of Psalms, chapter 116, verse 15.
Psalms 116, verse 15.
Uh-huh.
Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints.
Mm-hmm.
O Lord, truly I am thy servant.
Read it one more time.
Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints.
Uh-huh.
O Lord, truly I am thy servant.
Right, so truly we are his servants, and it's a precious thing even when we die. The Most High is the one who kills and makes alive, but even when we lose our life and our spirit goes to the Most High, it's a precious thing in his sight, right? Read one more time for me.
Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of all of his saints.
All his what?
Is the death of his saints.
All his saints. Right? So, as I said before, I want to speak about a brother of mine. He's from the tribe of Loya. He was an Israelite. And he recently passed away this past week. His name was Ibar. I knew him for some time, and I recently got some news that the brother passed away. Right? Read on.
O Lord, truly I am thy servant.
What did it say?
O Lord, truly I am thy servant.
Right? So give me the book of Sirach, chapter 7, verse 34. I knew that, it may be hard, but, I know this is going to be healthy for many brothers and sisters out there, because I know it's not easy losing one of your brothers. One of your brothers you go to war with. One of your brothers this fight, right? This fight of faith. It's not easy losing your brothers and your sisters, right? But I wanted to make sure to bring him up, bring his name up, right? Many brothers may not be familiar with him. Many sisters may not be familiar with him here at Eli Zion. But I wanted to make sure that his name is never forgotten. Right? Read on.
Sirach chapter 7, verse
Sirach 7:34.
34. Fail not to be with them that weep.
What did it say?
Fail not to be with them that weep.
So sometimes it may be hard. Your brother may have passed away, and sometimes you want to push it down. You want to forget it. Maybe you mourn for it from at that moment, and sometimes you just want to push it down and now forget it. You want to keep it pushing. You don't dwell on it too long. But the scripture always tells us, when you read the book of Sirach, it tells us, mourn for a man as he is worthy. Right? So many of our brothers who scream, scratch, fight to get out of this world and take claim as an Israelite, it's not an easy task. Right? Read on. So you mourn for a brother and sister because they are worthy of that mourning. You take that time and you mourn for them. Right? Read on.
And mourn with them that mourn.
Uh-huh.
Be not slow to visit the sick, for that shall make thee to be beloved.
Right? Give me the book of Sirach 38 and 23. I won't harp on this too long, and I'm not going to go into details, but what I will say is that, I pray that many of you brothers and sisters, you have this brother in your prayers, even though his spirit is already passed, his spirit is with the Most High. I pray that many of you have his family members in prayer. Right? Keep going.
Sirach 38, verse 23. When the dead rest, let his remembrance rest.
What did it say?
When the dead rest, let his remembrance rest.
Let his remembrance rest. Right? So when your brother and your sister rest, when your brother and sister finally pass away and you've mourned for them according to their worthiness, you let that name rest. You let them rest. Their spirit is free from all this hell that we see every day here in America. Every day in this world. They're free from that. Their spirit's with the Most High God, man. Whether they're receiving that judgment, we pray that they're receiving a lenient judgment from the Father. Right? But their spirit is at rest with the Father and with his Son. Right? So, did you finish that verse?
When the dead rest, let his remembrance rest, and be comforted for him, when his spirit is departed from him.
Right. So I want to go straight into the portion. I don't want to harp on this too long, but I do want to say is that I pray the brother's spirit was kept by Yahushai, as well as resting easy with our King, right? So his name was Ibar Loya, right? So let's go back into the portion, Judges chapter 7, Judges chapter 9. Yeah.
Judges chapter 9, verse 1. And Abimelech the son of Zerubbabel went to Shechem unto his mother's brethren, and communed with them, and with all the family of the host of his mother's father, saying, Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem, whether it is better for you, either that all the sons of Zerubbabel, which are 70 persons, reign over you, or that one reign over you. Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh.
All right, so we begin this story. We begin the beginning of this chapter, Judges chapter 9, with Jerubaal's son, Abimelech. All right. So Jerubbaal was Gideon. His name was changed to Jerubbaal after he destroyed and knocked down the idol and the altar of Baal. Right? Read it one more time. Verse 2.
Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem, whether it's better for you, either that all the sons of Zerubbabel, which are 70 persons, reign over you.
And how many people is that? That's 70. He's saying, what do you want? I'm giving you a proposition. My proposition is, what do you want? You want me to reign over you by myself, a single ruler? Or do you want me and all my other 69 brothers to rule over you? Right? So you have to, he's giving them a proposition, but it's not really a proposition, because he don't care about his 69 brothers really reigning with him over the people of Shechem. He wants to reign by himself, right? So read on. But all this is going to go in a full turn, because we're going to figure out why did Abimelech choose to go specifically to the people of Shechem? Why he chose them? In all the places in Israel, he chose Shechem specifically. We're going to find out why. Keep going.
John. Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem, whether it's better for you, either that all the sons of Zerubbabel,
70 in total, read on,
which are 70 persons, reign over you, or that one reign over you. Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh.
Right, so what do you say in the end? Remember what?
Remember also that I am your bone and your flesh.
He said, remember also that I'm your bone and your flesh, right? Is he literally talking about you're my bone and my flesh? What is he speaking? How is he speaking? What is he saying? He's speaking literally, or?
Luke, he's basically saying, you know me. Basically.
Is he speaking literally or?
Figuratively.
One more time?
Figuratively.
Maybe into the mic?
Figuratively.
He's speaking figuratively. And this is the perfect precept to understand what else in the scriptures. Where was this terminology first used in the Bible?
In Genesis.
In Genesis where?
Genesis with Eve.
There you go. So this is actually a perfect precept for you to understand what was going on with Adam and Eve. The same thing Adam said to Eve. You're the bone in my flesh. What he's talking about? The Lord actually came down off his throne, took a scalpel. I forgot. Scaffold.
Scaffold.
He took a knife. Lord took a stone knife and cut Adam open. Did perform surgery and took his rib and make a whole other person when he didn't need that for Adam. That don't make no damn sense. Hold on, Salakia. Yeah, that don't make no sense. Right? That's just the church being incompetent. Judges chapter 9, verse 2 is a perfect precept to explain what was going on with Adam and Eve. Right? When Adam said, you're the bone of my flesh, he's just referring to you're my family. That's the same thing Abimelech is saying to the people of Shechem. Read it one more time.
Speak, I pray you, in all the ears of the men of Shechem, whether it's better for you, either that all the sons of Jerubbaal, which are 70 persons, reign over you, or that one reign over you. Remember also that
What did he say?
Or that one reign over you. Remember also.
What did he say?
Remember.
One more time.
Remember.
Remember, don't forget. Read on.
Also, that I am your bone and your flesh.
Read on.
And his mother and his brethren spake of him in the ears of all the men of Shechem.
I'm your relative. I'm your cousin. It's the same thing with Adam and Eve. They were cousins, man. They were relatives. Right? They didn't perform no surgery and pull out his rib, man. Right? Read on.
And their ears inclined to follow Abimelech, for they said, he is our brother.
What did he say?
He is our brother.
He is our brother. All right, read on.
And they gave him 70 pieces of silver out of the house of Balberith.
So now what are they doing? Why did they just give him a bag of money? Why did they just give him a bag of money? They gave him a bag of money to recognize that he is our ruler. It's called homage. They're paying homage to him now. They accepted him. He gave them a proposition. They heard him. They said, well, you are our brother. And then they out of nowhere give him a bag of money. That's called homage. They're paying homage to him. It happens all the time in old world culture. In old world culture, all the time when rulers been established into their position, then the people around them or in their court will give them presents and tribute to recognize that they're entering into a position of power, right? That they're submitting themselves to him, right? Give me the book of, actually we can stay right there. Keep going. Keep going.
Gone.
Read it from the beginning, verse 4.
Gone. And they gave him 70 pieces of silver out of the house of Balberith.
What did they give him?
70 pieces of silver.
Mm-hmm.
Wherewith Abimelech hired vain and light persons which followed him.
So they're taking this money that they're giving to him, and they're getting it out of Baal Berith. Baal Berith is basically the house of worship that they established based off the god of the Philistines. It's a Philistine god. That's what it is. I know you see Baal and you assume that it's the same Baal that the Canaanites worship. It's not. When you go into the Hebrew, this basically is Ha-Baal Barayath, which means the house of the Lord of the covenant, right? It's a Philistine god that we adopted and we started worshiping ourselves, right? So keep going.
And he went into his father's house at Ophrah and slew
No. Finish off verse 4. Read verse 4 from the beginning.
Wherewith Abimelech hired vain and light persons.
What did it say?
Wherewith Abimelech hired vain and light persons.
So Abimelech, he takes this money, he takes the bag, right? He takes the bag of shekels, and now he's hiring vain and light persons, right? Captain, you know what light persons are? No problem. Yeah, do me a favor. While he's reading this, I have this set up right here on my phone. Search up Judges 9 and 4 in the ESV. Another translation. We're gonna get this another translation to understand what a light person is. A light person is a person who will do anything for the bag, for the money. They don't care. Give him a $10 bill. You're gonna see him do some crazy stuff. Right? Read that.
So he basically got yes men for his campaign.
You deleted the whole thing.
It's a lock, yeah. I didn't mean to. When I touched the screen, I did that.
Oh, you good. You're gonna have it on the screen, so it's all right. They're gonna see it together. Oh yeah, BESV. There you go.
The English Standard Version of Judges 9 and 4. And they gave him 7 pieces of silver out of the house of Balberith, with which Abimelech hired worthless and reckless fellows who
What
followed him.
what did he hire?
Hired worthless and reckless fellows.
He just hired a bunch of can I say the word? I don't know if I can say the word. Niggas, yeah, can I say it? I don't know. Captain Nicole? Approve? He hired He hired a bunch of niggas. That's it. He hired a bunch of worthless niggas. Read that one more time.
Wherewith with which Abimelech hired worthless and reckless fellows who followed him.
Worthless and reckless niggas. Right? Read on.
He went to his father's house.
Who what?
He went to his father's house in Ophrah.
Where are you reading from? It says who followed him.
Oh.
That read right part.
Who followed him?
Who what?
Who followed him?
Who followed him? They're following him only because he has the bag, because he has the money. That's it. They don't care about him trying to establish himself to do anything, be a leader or whatever. They don't care about none of that. They don't care about who his father was, Father Gideon. They don't care about none of that. They just care about the money. That's how you know there's worthless Negroes, man. Right? So let's jump down to the BBE translation. The BBE. Let me see where that at.
Don't they also have a term called wasteman?
Oh yeah, it's a wasteman. That's a Benjamite term. Benjamin still uses it today. A wasteman. A waste of your life.
Wasteman.
What is that? BBE. No, that's not it. Doesn't. Where is that? BBP. BBE. I'll find it and I'll have him read it. But you can stop sharing the screen. Continue going. I'm gonna get it.
John.
Hmm?
And he went into his father's house at Ophrah and slew his brethren, the sons of Zerubbabel.
Oh yeah, that's it. He got it. That was it. Judges 9 and 4.
Gone. And he went to his father's house at Ophrah.
Where you reading from? Verse 4.
You want me to read 4 again?
Hmm?
And they gave him 70 shekels of silver from the house of Balberith, with which Abimelech got the support of a number of uncontrolled and good-for-nothing persons.
Uncontrolled and a number of uncontrolled good-for-nothing persons, man. Good for nothing niggas. Let's go back to the scriptures. What for looking for that? What
And he went unto his father's house at Ophrah, and slew his brethren, the sons of Zerubbabel, being 70 persons upon one stone.
Mm-hmm.
Notwithstanding, yet Jotham, the youngest son of Zerubbabel, was left, for he hid himself. And all the men of Shechem gathered together, and all the house of Milo, and went and made Abimelech king by the plain of the pillar that was in Shechem.
Mm-hmm.
And when they told it to Jotham, he went and stood at the top of Mount Gerizim, and lifted up his voice, and cried, and said unto them,
What is he saying?
Hearken unto me.
So yeah, all these sons that died, 68 sons died. And the 69th son, Jotham, he survives. Jotham survives, and all the other 68 sons are dead all at once. So there's only 2 sons left from the house of Gideon, Abimelech and Jotham. Read on.
Gone. He said he slew him on one stone.
Hmm?
And he was Manasseh, right?
Hmm? They're all Manasseh, yeah.
Okay. Gone. They did that when they came over in America.
Go ahead.
Gone. And when they told it to Jotham, he went and stood up in the top of Mount Gerizim, and lifted up his voice, and cried, and said unto them, Hearken unto me, ye men of Shechem, that God may hearken unto you. The trees went forth on a time to appoint.
So when you read Judges chapter 9, verse 8, just a quick way to go about it so we can continue pushing on. Judges chapter 9, verse 8 is a perfect analogy to explain, once again, Genesis. Right? When you go to Genesis, you see the whole thing with the trees and everything like that, and Eve supposedly eating some fruit, and that's what made her sin. That's ridiculous, man. That's Christianity. Christianity is stupid, right? When you go to Judges chapter 9, verse 8, we see this brother. He's talking about men. He's talking about men here, figuratively being trees, right? We have men being figuratively being mentioned as trees, different type of trees, right? So what is this telling us about Genesis? It's not actual trees, it's people, right? Just to continue going forward, you can go to precepts. You got precepts from Mark 8 and 24. The man said, I see men as trees. And then you go to Ezekiel chapter 31, verse 7 and 9, where it says that the actual trees there were people, right? So just click on precepts for that. If you want the whole breakdown, then you need to be here at 2937 Westball Boulevard when we go over it on Sabbath. At Saturday, 12 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. You want to be here? Go over here. Go over it with Chief Minister Shaobah, right? Let's keep going. The water cap.
Hearken unto me, ye men of Shechem, that God may hearken unto you. The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them.
Right, so somebody's looking for somebody to anoint them. Somebody's looking to anoint somebody to be king over them, right? We're going to go through this, and then we're going to go through this parable, and then like Yahushua said, I'm going to give you all the understanding, right? Read on.
The trees went forth to anoint a king over them, and said unto the olive tree, Reign thou over us. But the olive tree said unto them, Should I leave my fatness, wherewith by me they honor God and man, to be promoted over trees? And the trees said to the fig tree, Come thou and reign over us. And the fig tree said unto them, Should I forsake my sweetness and my good fruit, and go to be promoted over trees? And they then said the trees unto the vine, Come thou and reign over us. And the vine said unto them, Should I leave my wine, which cheereth God and man, and go to be promoted over trees? Then said all the trees unto the bramble, Come thou and reign over us. And the bramble said unto the trees, If in truth ye anoint me king over you, then come and put your trust in my shadow. And if not, let fire come out of the bramble and devour the cedars of Lebanon.
Right, so let's get the understanding, right? If we go back to Judges chapter 9, verse 8, maybe if it wasn't clear the first time during the parable, I'll make it very plain upon tables, as the prophets did before, right? Judges chapter 9, verse 8. Go ahead.
Done. The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them.
Who's the king? Who's the trees? Let's get a guess. Who's the trees? Captain of Cole. Huh? Nope.
Well, actually, the trees this is talking about, and what we're talking about in verse 2. The men that Shechem was going to reign over.
Who said? The brother said, was that brother or sister? Yashar? Maybe it's a brother. I see Yashar. I'm assuming Yashar is a brother name.
Yashar.
What year did Judges take place? Oh, Judges chapter 9 take place. It took place after the death of Gideon, after the Midian oppression. What year exactly? I cannot give it to you. All right, you can go search up a chronological time period, and when it may have come, I wouldn't put my entire faith on it. You can just search up on Google, right? But let's keep going.
Done.
Where
The
we leave
trees
off?
went.
Right, go ahead.
The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them.
What was your answer, Captain Cole?
It was the verse 2 where all the men that Shechem was reigning over.
What was your answer?
All the men Shechem was reigning over.
Shechem. So your answer is Shechem?
No, the men that Shechem was reigning over.
The men that Shechem was reigning over?
No. Shechem is the land. It's the men of Shechem.
It says, "Speak, I pray you, in the ears of all the men of Shechem."
So you mean the men in Shechem? Okay, your answer is correct. Give it for the brother hand. So the trees that's being referred to in Judges chapter 9, verse 8, is the people, it's the men of Shechem. That's the reason why when you read Judges chapter 9, verse 1, it's Abimelech going to them. Abimelech's going to the people of Shechem. That's how the story starts. That's how the narrative of this whole situation starts, right? But there was something that took place before Abimelech came to them, right? Judges 9 and 8. Keep going.
The trees went forth.
The men of Shechem.
On a time to anoint a king over them.
Why are the men of Shechem seeking for a king out of the children of Jeroboam? It's because they sought it in who? The children of Israel is looking for a king in who?
Gideon.
And who?
Gideon.
And Gideon. And what was Gideon's answer? I can't be king over you. Let God be king over you.
God.
Right? So they couldn't obtain what the desire of their lust for having a man over them. They couldn't get it out of Gideon. Gideon wasn't a coward. He wasn't weak anymore. Right? So Gideon died fully in his conviction not to be king over the children of Israel. Right? But after he died, they sought it in his children. So first they came after his first and strongest child, right? 9, keep going. 9 and 8.
God. The trees went forth on a time to anoint a king over them.
Mm-hmm.
And they said unto the olive tree.
They said unto who?
They said unto the olive tree.
So this son, whoever it is, maybe the oldest son, but whoever this son is, he has the largest portion of wealth amongst all the other children. Because one, it compares him to an olive tree. When you go into the scriptures and you identify what an olive tree is, the olive tree is a very, very expensive tree. Its wood is used for palaces. We went over this when it came to Solomon building the temple. Its wood is used to build palaces, and also its same wood, the olive tree, was used for the building of the doors of our temple, right? So it's a very expensive tree. So this is a very, very wealthy son of Jeroboam, right? Jerubbabel. All right, read on.
God. But the olive tree said unto them, should I leave my fatness, wherewith by me they honor God and men?
So when he says fatness, what is he talking about? Him having some weight on him? His belly? What is his fatness talking about? Go ahead, Captain Cole.
His comfortable lifestyle, his riches, everything that comes alongside.
Exactly. His comfortable lifestyle. When you already have the wealth that you may obtain as a king, why become a king? It's like some people would say, why be famous when I can just be rich? I can just sit down in my wealth. I don't have to worry about people trying to sneak around my yard taking pictures around me. I can just sit quietly in my wealth, right? So he saw it. He understood. Why would I need that position? I already have wealth. I already have it. I'm good, right? So he denied their proposition, right? Read on.
But the olive tree said unto them, should I leave my fatness, wherewith by me they honor God and men, to go to be promoted over trees?
Right. Keep going.
And the tree said unto the fig tree,
So they moved on to another son. Keep going.
come thou, and reign over us. But the fig tree said unto them, should I forsake my sweetness?
My what?
Should I forsake my sweetness?
Should I forsake my sweetness? Read on.
should I forsake my sweetness and my good fruit?
My good what?
My good fruit.
What's the fruit to a tree? Go ahead. His offspring. Give the brother a hand. It's his offspring. A fruit to a tree is his offspring. So what is the fig tree referring to? This son is talking about his children. Why should I leave my prosperity? I have good prosperity. I got children. I'm good. Right? That's what a fruit is to a tree. So why should I leave them alone, my sweetness, my fruit, to go ruin over y'all? Why? Right? Read on.
Done.
Verse 11 from the top.
But the fig tree said unto them, should I forsake my sweetness and my good fruit to go to be promoted over trees?
Right. Keep going.
Then said the trees unto the vine, come thou and reign over us. And the vine said unto them, should I leave my wine?
Should I leave my what?
Should I leave my wine,
Very simple. Keep going.
which cheereth God and man, and go to be promoted over trees?
Right.
Then said all the trees unto the bramble, come thou.
So now, all these valuable and wonderful trees, delicious trees, we're going down to the bramble. The bramble, if you search up what the bramble is, it's like a thorny bush. In the Hebrew, it's literally called a thorny bush, right? So this thorny bush, compared to all the other sons, all these other trees, it's like garbage. Here, I think if you scroll down, it's not one of those. When you search, I think you have to search up biblical, or thorny bush. There you go. It's like one of those. Yeah, imagine seeing that compared to a vine with grapes on it, right? They came to this. They came to a man who was figuratively being spoken to as this, a thorny bush, right? Let's see what the thorny bush had to say. Go ahead.
Gone.
Verse 14.
Then said all the trees unto the bramble, come thou and reign over us.
Uh-huh.
And the bramble said unto the trees,
What did it say?
if in truth ye anoint me king over you, then come and put your trust in my shadow.
In my what?
In my shadow.
In my shadow. Read on.
And if not,
So if someone is under your shadow, they're under your what? You're under me. I'm over you. What are you? What am I doing for you? You're under my
rule.
No. Like, for example, your parents would say, you're under my wings. What are they saying? You're under my...
Protection.
Your what?
Protection.
Say in the mic.
Protection.
You're under my protection. Put your trust in me. You're trusting me. Now you're going under me. You're under my shadow. It's like your parents would say, you're under my wings. You're under my protection. Put your trust in me. Right? Keep going.
Gone.
And if not,
And if not, let fire come out of the bramble and devour the cedars of Lebanon. Now therefore, if ye have done truly and sincerely, in that ye have made Abimelech king, and if ye have dealt well with Zerubbabel.
Right, so verse 15 with the bramble, that's the beginning of Judges chapter 9, verse 2. That's how it all began. Everything else from 14 all the way to 8, we don't see none of that until the brother Jotham gives it to us in a parable. We don't see any of it. The whole story begins in Judges chapter 9, verse 15. All right, so go ahead.
Gone.
9:16. That's what I'm going to
16.
say, yeah.
Now therefore, if ye have done truly and sincerely, in that ye have made Abimelech king, and if ye have dealt well with Zerubbabel and his house, and have done unto him according to the deserving of his hands, for my father fought for you.
What did he say?
For my father fought for you,
Right.
and adventured his life far, and delivered you of the hand of Midian. And ye are risen up against my father's house this day, and have slain his sons, 60 persons upon one stone, and have made Abimelech king, the son of his maidservant, king over the men of Shechem, because he is your brother. If ye then have dealt truly and sincerely with Jerubbaal, and with his house this day, then rejoice ye in Abimelech, and let him also rejoice in you. But if
All right,
not,
so if what you did was correct, if the Most High is not going to have no problem with what you did against this man who fought for you in his household, then rejoice. Don't be looking over your shoulder. It's fine. Relax. If you did what's perfectly right in your eyes, then just chill and go do what you want to go do. Right? But if what you did was actually evil and wrong, because what you don't know, Jotham is actually putting a curse on them. Right? They don't even know that. They can't even see it. But Jotham is actually putting a curse on them. Because if you actually did what was wrong, read on.
done. But if not, let fire come out of Abimelech and devour the men of Shechem and the house of Milo.
He's cursing them right now. Keep going.
And let fire come out of the men of Shechem and the house of Milo. He said it twice. And devour Abimelech. And Jotham ran away and fled and went to Beer and dwelt there for the fear of Abimelech his brother. When Abimelech had reigned 3 years over Israel, then God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem.
Message, precept, boom. God just did what?
Then God sent an evil spirit.
What did he do?
Sent an evil spirit.
So this is a precept teaching us what? Who got it? God does what?
Does evil.
Huh?
Creates evil.
No, just not. I need something very specific.
Come.
Go ahead, Cap.
Or his anger is cast out by the evil angels, or the wicked.
I need
Psalm
some.
78:49.
That's true, but I need something shorter. This is a precept that you can use with Psalms 70 and 49. But what are we getting here? That God does what exactly? He. Oh. What does God do? What's it? Yashimai. Read verse 23 one more time.
Done. Then God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech.
Yashimai, what does God do? What does he do? What can he do? One more time? Louder.
Send evil spirits.
I can't hear you.
Send evil spirits.
He sent evil spirits. Give the brother. This is a beautiful precept to take a Christian real quick, slit his throat with the scriptures. I'm talking about scriptures. Slit his throat with the scriptures. God sends evil spirits. If you want to be very specific, you can tell them God sends demons, man. That's what God does. He can send righteous, protective spirits, but he can also send demons after you. And that's what exactly God did. He sent a demon after Abimelech because Abimelech was evil. All right, let's keep going.
Then God sent an evil spirit between Abimelech and the men of Shechem, and the men of Shechem dwelt treacherously with Abimelech, that the cruelty done in the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might come, and their blood be laid upon Abimelech their brother, which slew them, and upon the men of Shechem, which aided him in the killing of his brethren. And the men of Shechem set liers in wait for him at the top of the mountains, and they robbed all that came along that way by them. And it was told Abimelech. And Gal, the son of Ebed, came with his brethren and dwelt over Shechem. And the men of Shechem put their confidence in him.
They put their what?
Put their confidence in him.
All right, so let's read. Hold that. We'll jump down to 24. Read 24 one more time.
That the cruelty done in the 70 sons of Jerubbaal might come.
So key point, God never forgot. He doesn't forget anything. Doesn't. Man does. Man change, but God doesn't. He doesn't forget, right? And what he didn't forget is the evil that this man Abimelech has done to his father's household. What he did to his brethren. What he plotted with these men of Shechem. He didn't forget that, right? So someone down there, quick on the sword, give me the book of Ecclesiastes. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8, verse 12. But keep going.
Gone.
You can go back to where you were. I think yours verse 26.
Gone.
You got
And
the verse?
Gal, the son of Ebed.
Go ahead, read it. Yeah, come on.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 12. Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear the Most High, which fear before him.
Right, keep going.
But it shall not be well with the wicked, neither shall he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he feareth not before the Most High.
Right, his days is as a shadow. That's why when he reigned, he only reigned 3 years. And the Most High already sent a demon after him. Right? So, the order for reading. Answer Yashar Yehuda. Who is the bramble? The bramble represented by? What are you talking about? Who's supposed to be the bramble? The bramble is Abimelech. The bramble is Abimelech. And why is Abimelech being represented as a bramble? It's because he's worthless. He's scum. He's garbage. Why is he garbage? Because he just killed. He has intentions to murder his 68 brothers. Well, all 69. Imagine this. Some brothers they may want to fight their brother. He said, "Screw that! I'm killing all 69 of my brothers." That's what was going through his mind. That's what he was willing to do to sit on the throne over one city in all Israel.
On a rock like an Aztec.
Right. Yeah, there's something. Go ahead. Comment.
We're surprised at how much people do just for a couple of dollars. Imagine how far he would take it for some rulership.
Right.
Some land, not just a little bit of land, but an entire almost country.
Right.
Or city.
Right, and it ain't like he's been an example of a man who's keeping the commandments. So he's really hoping to have power over man and have men under him that's willing to do whatever he wants, right? And that can become a very, very dangerous place. That type of power can become very dangerous, right? Especially under the hands of a man like Abimelech, right? So let's keep going. No problem, brother. No problem.
And Gal, the son of Ebed, came with his brethren and went over to Shechem, and the men of Shechem put their confidence in him, and they went out into the field.
So remember, why is the men of Shechem putting confidence in Gaal? It's because and his brethren. It's because the Lord sent an evil spirit to stir bad blood between the men of Shechem and Abimelech. To stir bad blood. It's only been 3 years Abimelech been reigning over them. But the Lord has already sent an evil spirit to stir up bad blood between them. All right, read on.
And they went out into the fields, and gathered their vineyards, and trode the grapes, and made merry, and went into the house of their God, and did drink, and did eat and drink, and cursed Abimelech.
Right.
And Gal, the son of Ebed, said, "Who is Abimelech?
What did he say?
Who is Abimelech?"
Who's this nigga? I don't want to emphasize too much. Who's this nigga? Who's that? Abimelech? What is that? That sounds like a drink. Is that a drink? That's what he's basically doing. He's insulting this man who's supposed to be reigning in the city that he's sitting in right now. Right? Read on.
Who is Abimelech?
Who's Abimelech? Who that nigga? Read on.
And who is Shechem,
Uh-huh.
that we should serve him? Is he not the son of Jerubbaal?
Mm-hmm.
And Zebul his officer?
Right.
Serve the men of Hamor, the father of Shechem. For why should we serve him?
All right, he's talking real mad spicy right now. Read on.
And would to God this people were under my hand, then would I remove Abimelech. And he said unto Abimelech, increase thine army and come out. And when Zebul, the ruler of the city, heard the words of Gaal, the son of Ebed, his anger was kindled. And he sent messengers unto Abimelech privily, saying, behold, Gaal the son of Ebed, and his brethren be come to Shechem. And behold, they fortify their city against thee. Now therefore go up by night. Go thou and the people that is with thee, and lie in wait in the field. And it shall be that in the morning, as soon as the sun is up, thou shalt rise early and set upon the city. And behold, when he and the people that is with him come out against thee, then mayest thou do to them as thou shalt find occasion. And Abimelech rose up, and all the people that were with him by night, and they laid wait against Shechem in 4 companies. And Gaal, the son of Ebed, went out and stood at the entering of the gate of the city. And Abimelech rose up, and the people that were with him from lying in wait. And when Gaal saw the people, he said unto Zebul, behold, there come people down from the top of the mountains. And Zebul said unto him, thou seest the shadow of the mountains.
Right, so many people coming down this mountain. Read on.
Thou seest the shadow of the mountains as if they were men. And Gaal spake again and said, see, there come people down by the middle of the land, and another company come along by the plain of Meonenim.
Now let's listen to what Zebul say. Read on.
And Zebul said unto him, where is now thy mouth, wherewith thou saidest, who is Abimelech, that we should serve him?
What did he say?
Where is now thy mouth, whereas thou saidest, who is Abimelech?
Oh, yeah, you was talking all that good stuff just a little while ago. You know how Jake talk. You know, you were talking all that mad good stuff just a little while ago. Where's all that smack you was running? Where's all that smack you was saying? Right? You was talking about where's the ball, where's Abimelech? We right here. Right? And we want all the smoke. Keep going.
God. Who is Abimelech that we should serve him? Is this not the people that thou hast despised? Go out, I pray now, and fight with them. And Gaal went before the men of Shechem and fought with Abimelech. And Abimelech chased him, and he fled before him. And many were overthrown and wounded, even unto the entering of the gate. And Abimelech dwelt in Arumah. And Zebul thrust out Gaal and his brethren, and they should not dwell in Shechem.
Right.
And it came to pass on the morrow that the people went out into the field, and they told Abimelech. And he took the people and divided them into 3 companies, and laid wait in the field, and looked, and behold, the people were come forth out of the city, and rose up against them, and smote them. And Abimelech and the company that was with him rushed forward, and stood in the entering of the gate of the city. And the 2 other companies ran upon all the people that were in the fields, and slew them. And Abimelech fought against the city all that day. And he took the city, and slew the people that were therein, and beat down the city, and sold it with salt.
Right, he's trying to conquer now. Keep going.
And when all the men of the tower of Shechem heard that, they entered into the hold of the house of the god Berith. And it was told Abimelech that all the men of the tower of Shechem were gathered together. And Abimelech got him out of the mount of Zalmon, he and all the people that were with him. And Abimelech took an axe in his hand, and cut down the bow from the trees, and took it, and laid it on his shoulder. And
right,
said,
remember, Abimelech's an Israelite. Don't forget this. Like we said, like I think before when we first entered into the book of Judges, one of the things I want us to remember is that Judges has a lot of things going on within it. This is like a very dirty part of Israelite history in Judges because a lot of things we were doing were just completely off. Right? We had a lot of men like Abimelech that was running around in Judges, right? So remember, Abimelech's an Israelite. Pay attention to what he's about to do with these woods, these plank of wood that he's cutting down. Read on.
Gone. And took it and laid it on his shoulder and said unto the people that were with him, What you have seen me do, make haste and do as I have done.
Right. So you see me cut wood down. Go ahead and go cut some wood down. Right. Read on.
And all the people likewise cut down every man his bow, and followed Abimelech, and put them on the hold, and set the hold on fire upon them.
What did he say?
And set the hold on fire upon them, so that all the men of the tower of Shechem died also, about 1,000 men and women. You on?
No, you can keep going. That's just utter brutality, right? That's something like Esau would do. But all of this is just a full runaround. This is how the Most High said was going to happen. The Most High told us that he sent that evil spirit to put Abimelech against the people of Shechem for the evil that they did against the Jerubaal's family, right? So now we see Shechem is paying. Shechem paid for the evil. They're burning in a tower by the hands of Abimelech. But now we're going to see what Abimelech does after. Right? Read on.
Then went Abimelech to Thebez.
To where?
To Thebez.
Now he's going to Thebez. He conquered Shechem. He killed the people. Now he's trying to move on to the Thebez. Thebez had nothing to do with Abimelech. Right? He's going there just for straight smoke. Read on.
And encamped against Thebez and took it.
Uh-huh.
But there was a strong tower within the city, and thither all the men and women fled, and all they of the city, and shut it to them,
right?
and got them up to the top of the tower. And Abimelech came unto the tower and fought against it, and went hard against the door of the tower to burn it with fire.
To burn it what?
To burn it with fire.
Trying to repeat what he did the first time, right? Read on.
And a certain woman cast a piece of millstone upon Abimelech's head, and all to break his skull.
To break his what?
To break his skull.
That's beautiful. Right? We don't rejoice over the brother's death, but that's righteous judgment from the Father. This man was going to get judged, and we see him get judged. Right? And I wanted to pull up a picture of this. I don't know if Captain Cole is back there. I don't know if Captain Cole is still back there behind the curtains. But I wanted to pull a picture to show you what exactly is crushing Abimelech's head, right? His skull. What's crushing his head? And it's what you would call a millstone, right? You had millstones. You have some that were used for graining, right? The long circle that was on that pole, and they're pushing the pole, and it crushes the grain into powder. You have that. But you also have millstones that are used for chariots, right? There are those circles that are put into the circle of the wheel, and they were used for chariots also, right? So read 52 one more time. So like, yeah.
Go. And Abimelech came unto the tower and fought against it, and went hard against the door of the tower to burn it with fire.
Uh-huh.
And a certain woman cast a piece of a millstone upon Abimelech's head.
What did he do? What'd she do?
And a certain woman cast a piece of a millstone upon Abimelech's head.
Oh, if you can do me a favor, can you put a picture of a great millstone or millstone on the screen? Go ahead.
God. And a certain woman cast a piece of a millstone upon Abimelech's head, and all to break his skull. And he called hastily unto the young man his armor bearer, and said unto him,
what it was, it couldn't have been to this size of a millstone, right? He's about to show you. It couldn't have been to this size. Oh, Gaal was an Israelite, he was Israelite. Gaal and his brethren were Israelites. They were in the land of Israel. They went into the city of Shechem, which is in the territory of Ephraim. And then Abimelech fought against them and kicked them out of the city of Shechem. Right? So, but this is a great millstone right here. This is a great millstone. But it was something more to like a smaller piece, because when you read it again, it says what? What did she do?
And a certain woman cast a piece of a millstone upon Abimelech's head.
So she took a smaller piece of it, something like that, maybe. She took a smaller piece of a millstone and she dropped it on that Negro's head, right? I wanted to get this in another translation.
So she took a crack out of that. She basically took a piece or shatter out of that thing. All that anything that she could handle, and cast on his head.
Right, keep going.
And all to break his skull. Then he called hastily unto the young man his armor bearer, and said unto him, Draw thy sword and slay me, that men say not of me.
Ah, now I remember. It was 9:50. What verse was that right there you read?
That was 52.
That men may not say.
Oh, 9:54.
54? Okay, it was that one. There you go. Read that in the NLT. Read it actually in the KJV, then read it in the NLT. I love that verse right there. It's funny.
Then he called hastily unto the young man his armor bearer, and said unto him, Draw thy sword and slay me.
What did he say?
Draw thy sword and slay me.
So the millstone hit him. It damaged him. But he ain't dead yet. Right? And with him not dead yet, he runs to one of his young men, right? A young man like this brother right here. He runs to a young man like him, and then he does what? He says,
Draw thy sword and slay me.
Take that sword out and what?
And slay me.
And kill me. Read on.
That men say not of me. A woman slew him.
What?
A woman slew him.
A woman slew him, right? Reading the NLT.
NLT. He quickly said unto his armor bearer, Draw your sword and kill me. Do not let it be said that a woman killed Abimelech.
A woman killed what?
Do not let it be said that a woman killed Abimelech.
So let it not be said that a woman killed Abimelech. So it shows you something very interesting. Imagine the perspective of Abimelech. Imagine a few years after this, right? You have David and his mighty men of war, right? And they open up the scrolls, and somebody's reading it and saying, Abimelech died by a woman? And everyone's surprised. They was like, no, read that scroll again. It can't be right. It can't be right. How did he die? It says he died by stone. That's ridiculous, right? But that's the type of death you can obtain from the Father when you just as wicked as hell as Abimelech. This man was wicked. He was evil. So this is the type of death he got. Women don't even go to war. That's against the law. Women are not permitted to go to war. But what's written in our records is that during war, this man died by a woman, and she dropped a rock on his head. That's just embarrassing, right? That's why he tried to prevent it by having a young man kill him, right? Try and change the records, but we got the records now. Keep going.
Done. And when the men of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, they departed every man unto his place. Then God rendered the wickedness of Abimelech, which he did unto his father in slaying his 70 brethren.
Read verse 55 one more time.
And when all the men of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, they departed every man unto his place.
So all the men that Abimelech was warring against, and all the men that was following him, what did they do? They all departed every man to his place. Why? Because the men that he had were what? Worthless, good for nothing.
Niggas.
There you go. That's where they were. So when he died, no more bags, no more shekels, no more money. They all went home. It was gone. There was no loyalty. Right? Keep going.
And when all the men of Israel saw that Abimelech was dead, they departed every man unto his place. Then God rendered the wickedness of Abimelech, which he did unto his father, in slaying his 70 brethren. And all the evil of the men of Shechem did God render upon their heads. And upon them came the curse of Jotham, the son of Zerubbabel.
Right, that whole parable was leading to a curse that he was placing on both those parties. So now let's move on to Judges chapter 10, verse 1. We now seen the death of the wicked one called Abimelech, right? So let's move on. Judges 10 and 1.
Judges chapter 10, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And after Abimelech, there arose to defend Israel Tola, the son of Puah, the son of Dodo, a man of Issachar.
Mm-hmm.
And he dwelt in Shamir, in the Mount Ephraim. And he judged Israel 23 years and died and was buried in Shamir.
All right, there was a question before about why these judges, why is there not real information on what's going on in the lives of these judges? It's only due to the fact that these were what you'll call the time of peace. Israel wasn't going off. Israel wasn't transgressing. Therefore, these judges took those offices and they died in those offices. They didn't have to go to war. They didn't have to go defend Israel because Israel offended the Most High. And the Most High had to punish them in some shape or form. That's not what's going on. This is showing the level of peace that was going on in the time period. Right? Read on.
Then after him arose Jair, a Gideonite, Gileadite, and judged Israel 22 years. And he had 30 sons that rode on 30 donkey colts, 30 donkeys. And they had 30 cities, which are called Havoth Jair unto this day, which are in the land of Gilead. And Jair died, and was buried in Carmel. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord, and served Baalim and Ashtaroth, the gods of Syria, and the gods of Syria, and the gods of Zidon, and the gods of Moab, and the gods of the children of Ammon, and the gods of the Philistines, and forsook the Lord, and served not him.
You might as well just say the whole list. Might as well say every nation under the sun. All right, because you would assume by now Israel would have learned a lesson, but we haven't. It's because the Most High said, what about our people? Give me the book of Ezekiel. Not you. Someone down there. Yashimai, quick on the sword, Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 2, verse 3 and 4. But you keep reading. Go down and keep reading until 7.
And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hands of the Philistines, and into the hands of the children of Ammon.
All right. You got that scripture? Ezekiel 2 and 3. Read. Stand up.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 2, verse 3.
Louder.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 2, verse 3. And he said unto me, Son of man, I send thee to the children of Israel, to a rebellious nation.
To what kind of nation?
To a rebellious nation.
To a rebellious nation, right? Read on.
That had rebelled against me.
Right. So this is the type of nation that we're constantly having to deal with ourselves. We're naturally a rebellious people, right? And the Most High is always trying to show us that as long as we keep our faith and our trust in Him, it'll be all right. But we're constantly rebelling against Him. That's why we have to show our faith and keep our works now in this time period. Fight our fight of faith, that we may be able to obtain these new bodies, that we may be able to obtain this new covenant, where we won't be disobedient anymore. We won't disobey the Heavenly Father and His instructions, right? But in this time, we're fighting every day not to disobey Him, right? Read on.
They and their fathers have transgressed against me, even unto this very day.
Right, and we even transgressed the Most High even unto this very day. Where do we leave off? Ezekiel. 10 and 8.
You want me to get Ezekiel?
No, not Joshua. Judges, yeah.
Chapter 10.
Judges chapter 10, verse 8. Slack, yo.
And that year they vexed and oppressed the children of Israel. 18 years, all the children of Israel that were on the other side of Jordan, in the land of the Amorites, which is in Gilead. Moreover, the children of Ammon passed over Jordan to fight also against Judah, and against Benjamin, and against the house of Ephraim, so that Israel was sore distressed. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, saying, We have sinned against thee, both because we have forsaken our God, and also served Baalim. And the Lord said unto the children of Israel, Did I not deliver you from the Egyptians, and from the Amorites, from the children of Ammon, and from the Philistines? The Zidonians also, and the Amalekites, and the Maonites did oppress you. And ye cried to me, and I deliver you out of their hand. Yet ye have forsaken me, and served other gods, wherefore I will deliver you no more. Go and cry unto the gods which ye have chosen. Let them deliver you in the time of your tribulation. And the children of Israel said unto the Lord, We have sinned. Do thou unto us whatsoever seemeth good unto thee. Deliver us only, we pray thee this day.
Right. So he delivered you to do what? So you can rebel again? So you can rebel and end up in the same place again? The Most High is now doing this as an act of, and a way to educate us, a way to leave us in the boiler a little longer than usual, so we can finally get some type of reasoning in our minds. Yo, we can't keep going in this cycle, this repetitive cycle of rebelling against the Heavenly Father, keeping His commandments until a nigga dies. A nigga dies, then we break His commandments again. We can't continue this cycle. So this is what the Most High is trying to show us. He said, you know what? I ain't gonna send you no savior again. I ain't gonna send you another deliverer again. You're gonna have to deal with this on your own. All right, read on.
And they put away the strange gods from among them, and served the Lord. And his soul was grieved for the misery of Israel.
Right. So now the Most High's heart is grieved. What verse you at?
17.
17. Keep going.
Then the children of Ammon were gathered together and encamped in Gilead. And the children of Israel assembled themselves together and encamped in Mizpah. And the people and princes of Gilead said one to another, What man is he?
What?
What man is he?
One more time.
What man is he?
What man is he? Read on.
That will begin to fight against the children of Ammon.
Uh-huh.
He shall be head over the inhabitants of Gilead.
What shall he obtain?
He shall be head over the inhabitants of Gilead.
And I want to say, by Shem Amashak Yahushai, Thawadathem Yad. Aman. Let's give a hand to Yahweh by Shem Amashak Yahushai. So, he shall be head over all the inhabitants of Gilead. Next week, we'll be finding out who will obtain this position and who will earn it. By next week, we'll be going to another judge and a deliverer and savior that is to be sent by the Most High, right? But I want to say all praise to the Most High for another class. I pray for all the brothers and sisters to hearken unto my words from the beginning of the class. And, pray for our brother, Abar Loya. Pray for him, pray for his family, going through this hard and terrible situation. All right, I pray you pray for the brothers to keep his family in your hearts and in your prayers. They're not having any problems when it comes to burial or anything like that. There's actually talk about burying his body back in Haiti, so he can be buried near his parents and his family. And that's far more beneficial than for him to be buried here, right? So I just pray that many of you just keep the brother's family in your prayers. Beside that, I want to say all praise to the Most High for the class we had. It was a powerful class. Tomorrow will be the Shabbat service, be led by Chief Minister Solomon at 12 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. at 2937 Westbound Boulevard. The day after that, we'll be having the Feast of Pentecost. Hallelujah! Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
We'll be having the powerful Feast of Pentecost. Quite crazy question I just saw. We'll be having the powerful Feast of Pentecost, and it'll be located at Quiet Waters Park on Power Line, beginning at 12 p.m. all day. We'll be there all day, celebrating in the name of our God, Yahweh, man, the God of Black and Hispanics. So I want to say, let's face the east and set up this prayer. So Most High willing, we'll hit these streets and go teach our people. All right. Who's the power? Who's the power? By Hashem? By Hashem? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? How? How? The book of Psalms, chapter 133, and Lashon Kodash, repeat the Hebrew. Shayar, Hama Alwaf, Ladawad, Hana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Nayam, Shapaf, Akim, Gum, Yakad, Kashaman, Hatawab, Al, Harash, Yarad, Al, Hazakwan, Zakwan, Aharan, Shayarad, Al, Paya, Mariawathiwa, Kato, Kamamwan, Shayarad, Al, Haraya, Taziawan, Kaya, Sham, Tazawa, Yahweh, Af, Haberka, Kayam, Aid, Hayawam, Bahashem, Amasyak, Yahushai, Thawada, Thamyad, Aman.
Amen.
Read English.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head, that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments. It's the dew of Hermon, and it's the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Ba'ashem, Hamashak Yahushai Thawadatham Yad Aman.
Man. So I want to say shalom to the nation of Israel. I'm Captain Montezak. Another powerful Friday history class. Cracking open these books, and stand next to me as
Officer Barakat.
Officer Bunnicut. So I see another question, comment before we log off. Raparia, daughter of Zion. You know, shalom to my beloved sister. She always watching us, and she always being with us here in the spirit, man. So prayers for our LOZ brothers as they go out tonight, spreading the word and edifying our lists of Gentiles. Right? Yeah, the Gentiles of our people, man. I see another question before we log out. It says, do you think Jephthah was a mamzer? Well, we'll find out next week. How about that? Let me answer the question. We'll find out next week. Right? I'll phrase it. I don't think any more questions beside that. Well, yeah, I already answered that question. So we'll say shalom to